Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Android DTV. In today's video, I am going to be describing my experience of having an MRI done. So if your doctor has said you need to get an MRI and you want to know what to expect, you never had one before, stay tuned. So before I start into the whole experience of getting an MRI, if you're curious, the color on my lips is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Havana, just in case you're wondering. So I just recently had an MRI done because I have problems with acid reflux and GERD and all those kinds of digestive things. You can get an MRI done for many different reasons. It's generally used a lot with people with cancer. But you can also get one done if you break a bone or something like that, or if you're like me and you have a digestive issue, I guess. So MRIs are really helpful because, there's also CT or CAT scans, which are sort of similar. They're basically just used to take sort of like an X-ray of your entire body, basically. The reason why I had an MRI done is because my doctor recommended that I have a different kind of test where I was gonna have to swallow a tiny, like, pill-sized camera, and I thought the pill looked a little big for me, and I wasn't gonna be able to swallow it. So an MRI is basically an alternative to that. So if your doctor has said you need to do this pill cam, swallow study test thing, whatever, and you feel like you might not be able to do it, then ask if you can get an MRI done instead. So the general experience of getting an MRI, I guess, depending on what you're getting the MRI for. I know that the main fear that a lot of people have with MRIs is that they are claustrophobic. There is such a thing as an open MRI where I guess the tube is more open maybe, so if you are claustrophobic, ask if you can get the open MRI, but in this video I'm going to be just talking about a regular MRI because I didn't have an open MRI. Basically an MRI, if you don't know even what the general MRI is, basically it's when you slide into a tube and there's like this machine that takes an x-ray of your whole body and you have to lie completely still. And when they say you have to lie completely still, they mean it. You cannot even breathe. They tell you to hold your breath for about 30 seconds, usually is like 20-30 seconds. The two things that people are most afraid of are being claustrophobic and also the noises that the machine makes. So if you're more concerned about like the beeping noises and the electronic sounds of the machine, they actually give you a pair of headphones to listen to with music on them. And at least where I went, they had Pandora, so you can request like, I want relaxing music, I want rock music. You can request whatever kind of music you want to listen to too, which is really great if the noises kind of bother you and stuff. Personally, for me, the music kind of helped me calm down because I was very nervous about doing this. So the music just kind of helped me, it kind of distracted me. So a lot of places do have music available for you as well. Depending on, I guess, what they're looking for in the MRI, the MRI could take anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour to an hour, depends how in-depth they're going with it. Mine took about probably a half an hour. As far as preparation for an MRI, it might, again, depend what you're getting done. At least in my case, I couldn't eat or drink anything 4 hours prior to the exam. So my exam wasn't until like 12:15 or something. So I knew I was going to be really hungry if I didn't eat at all. So if your exam is later in the day, I do not recommend fasting unless you think you can go like the whole day without eating. So I woke up quite early and had a little bit of something to eat 4 hours prior to the exam, so you might want to eat a little something depending on when your exam is. Other than that, you just show up and you have to drink a solution of barium. This was honestly the worst part of the whole exam for me. I'm really not claustrophobic, so that didn't really bother me. Even the loud noises of the machine didn't bother me. The barium was like the worst part for me. If you don't know what barium is or what a solution of barium is, it's basically a chalky white mixture that tastes really bad. And you basically have to drink it so that they can actually see what's going on inside of your body. That's the only way the x-ray can actually detect what's going on the inside of your body. Now, I've done a barium swallow before, and with that, they put flavoring in it to make it a little more palatable. With this, they did not put any flavoring in it. It was just like straight barium. It was really disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. And the hard thing about it is that it's not just like you have to drink a cupful of it. You actually have to drink, I would say, 2 large size water bottles full of the barium, as well as a little bit, like a cupful of water afterwards. It actually tastes a little bit different than like the last time I had barium. When I did the barium swallow, it tasted like as if someone ground up a bunch of like Tums. But this didn't taste like that. It tasted more like lemon lime seltzer that was left out for like years or something, like really warm lemon lime seltzer that's been left out for like several years or something. It tasted really bad, and the fact that you do have to drink such a large quantity of it was the hardest part for me. Like, it just made, I think the point is that it's supposed to fill your bowels, so you might get like a kind of full feeling after drinking it. You might burp a lot. I definitely did. It was just like so much, and it tasted really nasty. That was the hardest part for me. And like they do suggest that you should try to drink both bottles, but I was able to get down almost an entire bottle, and you also have to try to do it within 15 minutes as well, because everything is timed a certain way and everything moves through your body a certain way. And they say that the more you drink, the more it will move down in your body. So drinking more will actually help move it along. But if you kind of struggle with that, or like, I'm a very small sized person, and so I found it kind of ridiculous that I was expected to drink as much as like a normal sized adult. If you're struggling with drinking all of that, maybe ask the nurse like, well, can I drink like 1 bottle? Like, how much do I really need to drink? And they might be able to kind of accommodate you a little bit. I was able to get down almost a bottle, and when I tried to do the MRI, they said it wasn't far enough down in my stomach or whatever to be able to really see what they needed to see. So they basically just had me wait for 45 minutes so that it would move farther down, and then we were able to do the MRI just fine. So it might just be a question of if it's, you know, if you didn't drink all that you needed to and it's not where it needs to be in your body, you might just have to wait a little bit. I honestly prefer waiting 45 minutes than trying to drink all that barium. That might just end up being the case for you. Like, if, you know, you can only drink a certain amount, you might just have to wait longer. So just ask if, you know, you can do that. But I was able to actually, as far as the actual MRI goes, I was able to do it pretty much just fine. Depending on, you know, if you're claustrophobic, if you have an issue with like the noise of the machine, you know, everyone's going to be different with this, but for me, none of that was a problem. You basically, you have a gown on, you lie down on the table, they do give you a pillow, sometimes they'll give you blankets too if you're cold. You slide into the machine, and there's actually an intercom system so that whoever is doing the exam can actually talk to you, and you can talk back to them, because they're going to ask you like, you know, you feel okay, are you comfortable? And you can say, yeah, I am, or yeah, can you give me music, whatever. So you can communicate back and forth with the people doing the test, which is really nice. Like I said, they'll give you headphones with music. You can request whatever kind of music you want, and you're just lying there, and you just do whatever they tell you to do. Generally, they'll let you know when they're gonna start taking the picture, and you have to remain completely still. This was the only other challenging part of the exam for me, was just holding my breath. If you have really good endurance, this might not be a problem for you, but for me it kind of was. Basically, when they'll tell you take a deep breath, hold it, and then they'll let you know, you'll hear all these, like, you'll hear a series of beeping noises, and then like the picture's been done, and you can like breathe normally again, and then they'll set you for the next one. At times, you are holding your breath for quite a long time. You could be holding your breath for like 20-30 seconds. If you do feel like you need to kind of let it go a little bit, like I did a couple of times, I kind of had to like let it go a little bit, because I'm like, you know, and it's like, you feel like you're gonna explode basically. So if you feel like you can't hold it, the nurse said to me, like, if you have to let it go, just let it go slowly so that you don't, basically the point is that you don't want to cause a lot of movement, because then they won't be able to take the picture as accurately. So just try to remain as still as possible. Try to hold your breath. Don't even breathe. Try to hold your breath. And if you feel like you can't hold your breath that long, just kind of like let's say if you're like, and you need to let it go, just kind of go. Like, let it go so slow that you almost aren't even doing anything. Like like as if you're deflating a balloon really, really slowly or something like that. It basically just continues on that way. You know, they let you know when they're going to take the next picture. Hold your breath. You'll hear a series of beeping noises, and then you can breathe normally again, and then they'll set you up for the next one, and it just continues on that way until they're done. They also put an IV in you in the beginning, and midway through they like took it out and put another one in me, but that was like the only break that there was. So like I said, depending on what they're doing the MRI for, your test could take anywhere from like 10 minutes to an hour. The experience is probably going to vary depending on what they're testing for. But with me, you know, I would say it was an okay experience. The worst part for me was the barium and also trying to hold my breath for so long. But other than that, it was a fine experience for me. It wasn't really uncomfortable. It wasn't painful. So that is my experience with having an MRI, just as a general experience. If your doctor said you need to get an MRI and you don't know what to expect, you don't know what an MRI is, or you have a certain fear about it, that's just my general experience. If you have any other questions about something I didn't talk about in this video, or you kind of just want to know anything else about it, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. If you are having an MRI, good luck. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Andrea DTV. If you like this video, please subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at adfrancesco24. I'm also on Instagram at the same handle. I really hope that this video helped some of you out, and I hope to see you in my next video.